suffering of strangers, the agony of friends. There's a secret song at the center of the world, and it sounds like razors through flesh. And that, my friends, is my Pinhead impression. It's just fun to do, because after all, he is one of the most articulate horror villains ever. The dude is a lyrical assassin. I played with your box and you came. Okay, maybe you didn't say the last one, but I said it and you heard it, and now we're both thinking it. And while we're on the subject, how about we discuss one of the best installments from our Cenobite friends, Hellraiser III, Hell on Earth. This movie has creative in-your-face gore, paired with some intense frights that have let this film's legacy live on for the last 30 years. The Hellraiser franchise fandom is just as strong today as it ever was, so I hope we don't disappoint the black masses with this one. We're offering you a place at our right side. Flesh, power, dominion, so save your suffering. We'll deal with that later. Boys and girls, here is our take on Hellraiser III, Hell on Earth. All right, now, boom! Welcome back. I hope that kind of jarred you guys, and I hope you're ready, especially our regular listeners. That's not how you were expecting us to come into this. But welcome back to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion, Mr. Christian Ramey, and back again for another season. I mean, last week we started this, but it's the 4-3. That's what I came up with. Mark, I don't know if it's at all possible, but I want you to get the Marv Albert for 3. Yes!
For 3!
Because I really think that there's so many for 3s from him that you could get that sound somehow and not getting any kind of,
No, trust me. Go to YouTube right now. There's somebody has the time and the lack of a life to take all of the clips of him saying that and make a montage of it.
There was one of the best impersonators ever who would do it, but he because he had different levels of yes, Marv Albert, when Kobe Bryant for 3, yes. Kobe Bryant for 3, yes. But the game winner, who's Kobe for 3, yes.
Who's the guy that does the bang
for 3, yes.
Who's the guy that does bang?
That guy.
That's my favorite. I say that whenever I see a three-pointer made.
What the fuck is his name? I love that guy. That guy's great, though.
Whenever I see a three-pointer made and I get excited, I yell bang.
It's
just the word. It's just the words you gotta say when you see a twick, a nice, beautiful three-point shot. Bang!
Yeah.
Exactly.
But when that shot's going up, if it's past the arc, for 3. And whether it's yes or bang, I'm okay with either. But the bang is more
Bang, the bang's more of a let's go to all you little assholes that say that crap. Anyways.
Marv Albert was one of those legendary guys. He just had that, for 3.
Okay, all right.
That's where that came from. So if you guys are wondering.
Now you're educated. We're starting off with fun facts here, but let's get back into the real reason why we are here in your ear holes for the next hour of hardcore entertainment right up in your ass. Tell them.
Look, you guys are you should be pretty excited, because I'm not going to lie to you. This right here, I like the Hellraiser franchise. I'm not going to lie to you. I like all the movies for the most part. The first 2 included, but the first 2 are very British. The British movies, and I'm not, 80s British, and it's not a bad thing. It's just a little different. I feel like the third Hellraiser kind of was a little more international, if you will. Seems a little bit more American, and I dug that, Forgive me for not being as cultured. But the one thing the Hellraisers, I'll just start off by saying, they don't have the benefit of aging great. They don't age incredible. There are some things that don't hold up well. But there's always some thick story there. And Clive Barker, writing these great books, he's just got quite an imagination here. And it always plays out in his movies just from these characters that he's given us. So, I don't know, looking back at these, I think the third one is probably my favorite. I'm going to start off by saying that. So, it's just for me, these characters get creepy. they get. I mean, we'll give you a synopsis, but I just gotta start by saying I feel like last season, the Once Bitten Twice Shy, where we covered the second installment of movies. I really thought that a lot of characters, like Freddy, for example, he looks scarier in the second movie. I think certain characters look scarier in the second movie. Who else were we talking about looks scarier in the second, Mark? There were certain...
I think Jason looks scarier in the second.
But it was a movie we covered last season. I don't know, but I
don't fucking remember.
Short-term memory.
I forget all the episodes we did.
I agree. I agree.
It's to the point where I forget what we do.
But
I know. Remember saying Freddy in the second one. Whatever. Don't matter. Well, it'll come back to me.
I feel like it was the movie we covered after Freddy, but I don't remember what that was. So that being said, all I can say is usually they follow up and make them scarier. And I'm not saying Pinhead and the Cenobites weren't scary in the first or second one. They were definitely creepy. And this one, I just remember being younger and this freaking me the fuck out. The club scene in particular, the way they walked more. He walked on this earth. He was different and he talked more. And there was a psychological element. Because I'm not going to lie, they're into that freaky shit, right? That, that BDSM shit. And like the fucked up part is, I could fall into some bullshit, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Because like, what if it was modernized? What if there's like some big titty goth girls and they're like, look, we're going to spit in your mouth and pull your hair while she sucks your dick. And you're going to be like, all right.
Okay.
Fuck.
Let's give it a whirl.
She's going to slit your throat while she blows you and she blows your balls. You're going to be like, what now?
Okay.
I remember the last part.
Let's just put it out there, okay? If it was an edible, there's no way I could stop it from happening, that would be the way I'd want my throat slit.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
So if you're telling me if it was inevitable and your throat's getting slit, I will try to make these demands made for you.
Please, not you.
No, I'm not sucking your dick. I'm saying, like, if I know that that's the situation, I'm like, look, you got to slit his throat. I'm going to urge you not to. But we need pretty big titty goth girls in here. Okay? And that's the situation. That's what's going to happen. Okay? But it's an interesting element. But I feel like no matter what, if you're like, even if you're not like a kinky little fucker, like, I feel like if you're like somebody that's like a go hard where you're like, fuck you, dog, they're just gonna pick you apart. Like, you almost have to be like a sheep for them not to be interested in you. And I don't think anybody thinks of themselves as a sheep. So like everybody feels like vulnerable to the Cenobites. Hello, Mark.
He's got a way with words.
Like if he came up to you talking that shit, Ozark, always thinking you're smart, huh? You're like, oh fuck.
I can show you a world of pleasure you have no idea. Pleasure? What?
What do you mean?
What don't I know about?
Have you ever won every one of your sports bets? Go on.
No, I've won like 10% of them.
And he's like, all right, okay now, all right.
Yeah, but he cuts you deep. He
does.
gets to you, and he knows how to manipulate you and get you.
Okay.
That's what makes him kind of scary.
So I guess we'll get into a synopsis here. That's going to be fair. But folks, before we do that, as we do with every episode, we're going to urge you all to check out our Patreon and our merchandise, because as you all know, we don't have any advertisements on this show. Well, at least not currently, because I don't want to sell you shit unless it has to do with scary shit. And to be honest with you, I don't really want to sell you anything. I just like that you guys enjoy the show. But if you want to help us keep the lights on, which would be greatly appreciated, you can go to patreon.com/sloppyhorror. And for as cheap as $3 a month, you can get all these bonus episodes. And we're not always talking horror movies, we're talking everything. Sometimes spicy, sometimes not. Me and Ozark cried last episode, so if you want to hear that, you can find that there. But also, Mark did a great job at putting together a bunch of merchandise, a lot of great stuff. So if you guys want to check that out, there's always links in our description, and some videos that are able to be monetized on YouTube. You can see like displays of the stuff underneath. So there you go. Now, we can get back to the regular scheduled programming.
Thank God.
Folks, we're talking Hellraiser 3 here. What we have is a news reporter named Joey. Joey is not loving her job, but she's kind of stumbled into a story where the Pinhead and the Cenobites they're fucking with these people. All right, it's a bar owner and his like little girlfriends that he's fucking around with. Long story short, there's some A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 shit going on here, okay? Do you remember that Patricia Arquette's character, how she had the ability to dream and drag people into her dreams?
Yes.
Okay, so this girl Joey, her daddy died in Vietnam before she was born. Like, obviously, her moms and her dads had banged. They had consummated.
That's usually how it works, yeah.
They had conceived.
They did anal first.
Yes. So, he's about to go to Nam. You got to give it all up.
Absolutely.
Right?
If I was going to war,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Those guys had to jack off the pictures back then.
They had to jack off to their thoughts.
All right. So she's able, she has like these reoccurring dreams where she's in Nam, like reliving the scene where her dad died, and she can kind of see the whole thing go down and transpire. She can't really do anything or save it, obviously, but this ability, unbeknownst to her, is a quality that the guy, so Pinhead was a man at first, obviously. He was a man in war. He was a man in World War I, I'm assuming. First War, the Great War.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. They didn't really specify that.
I know, but from what it looks like,
probably based on
trench
the
warfare.
Yeah, the weapons and shit.
So, his name was Elliot Spencer, Pinhead before he was Pinhead. He was kind of a collector, an explorer of worlds, like most people who get their hands on one of these boxes, the puzzle box. He opens it up. Obviously, he gets dragged in. He becomes Pinhead. Well, in the first movie, Kirsty, she fucking frees him, frees his spirit, and now he's free in his, like, it's not like a dream world, but it's like his reality almost. But we'll just say it's a dream world where he's back to his normal persona. But what had happened was the bad guy is still out there too. So Pinhead's still out there, but now he's in the real people world. So what this dude does, Elliot Spencer, the good Pinhead, before he was Pinhead, reaches out to Joey. Like, look, you got some weird, clairvoyant motherfucking powers where you can bring people into shit. And he said, war is all the same, all right? So he says, if you dream of war, it's all like one place. It's this place in between heaven and hell, all right? Very Clive Barker-ish. And if you can bring Pinhead into this motherfucking world, okay, I can fuck him up because I got powers. But I need you to bring him to this world by playing around with the box and fucking around and opening up the box and then getting him in here. And essentially that's what she does. And, they defeat each other, and it's all, it's a big battle.
It's a lot more complicated than you think.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's one of those things too. Like, there are parts in this movie where if you just say it out loud, it is funny. It is funny.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely funny. Like, hey, there's a guy who's a cameraman who becomes a Cenobite. Now he has a camera for an eyeball, but that's also a laser, and it's also a corkscrew.
Yeah. I like how when they become Cenobites, it's the same thing that horror, like when you said in an earlier episode, like people die about what they're addicted to. When you become a Cenobite, you become a Cenobite of what you're addicted to. I like that.
Yeah, man, that's a fun concept.
Yeah.
That's a super fun concept. So also, I will say that, like, at the beginning of this movie, the Cenobites are frozen in this, like, column. It's like an artist column, if you will. Like a sculpture fucking thing, like almost like the lady in Beetlejuice would carve. If you're unfamiliar of what I'm talking about,
yeah, it's just like some kind of sculpture.
Right, but it's got like Pinhead's face and all the other motherfucking faces and shit in it. It almost looks like Jabba the Hutt froze these motherfuckers in carbonite, and they're all in this statue. And what had happened is this asshole bar owner buys it. He likes all this like creepy gothic like torture paintings and shit, and he liked this fucking statue, so he got it. But he's got this thing for banging broads, right? And he takes them back and he abuses them. He's like a real womanizer. He's not a good guy, right? He's a bad guy. Well, his wicked ways bring this column alive, and Pinhead's like, look, you gotta feed me bitches, you gotta feed me people. Eventually, one of these girls kind of outsmarts him and feeds him to the column, right? And then he gets fed to him, but it doesn't matter because she dies anyways. Then he gets released into the real world. And he's released once he's freed with all these Cenobites that he's accumulating over the way, all right? And they're just out wrecking shit. I'm not going to lie to you. This movie is by far, I'm telling you right now, like this is undisputably a 3 for kills. Like, there's so many special effects throughout the whole fucking movie. There's just way too many ways. People dying from CDs. People fucking dying from, like, ice sculptures. Like, there's so many fucking ways of death in here.
Yeah. There's a lot of death in it.
And some of it doesn't age as well. Some of it, like, doesn't, like, especially with the CGI. But there is quite a bit of it that still does age great. And it's fun. And it's...
Well, yeah, I mean...
There's so much.
You gotta, again, I mean, you gotta do it. You gotta know that going into it.
I think too, like when I'm thinking kills and the rating, like I'm thinking like how hard did the people in the department work? Like how many people did they bring into this movie to like work on kills and work on like special effects and what?
That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know how many people. I don't know the number for this, but like you just said, I know it's a lot.
Dude, just the guy who owns the club, just his apartment. Imagine, like, I'm just looking at this movie, like they had to get all those paintings in there. They had to get everything. You know, they had to do a lot of shit to make it.
And then that first girl he brought back, they skinned her alive.
Yeah, that was intense.
That was nuts. That was nuts. They pulled her whole skin off, dude.
I know.
And like, and I will also say, like, I'm being fair. I know I love horror movies, and I'm not trying to sound holier than thou. This isn't a great movie in like terms of just like Shawshank Redemption kind of deal.
No, it's not a feature film, but it's a horror movie. Like it's in its lane.
It's in its lane 100%. But like the unique elements to the Hellraiser franchise, there's nothing else like them. Like they have their own feel.
No, and that's why I I feel bad because I really like Pinhead, and the Hellraiser movies are great movies, but I forget about them. Mm-hmm. But then once I see it again, I'm like, oh, like I forgot about Pinhead. You know, he's one of those that, like you kind of forget, but he's like special like that. He's not, to me, he's not one of the most iconic horror movie villains. But and once you find him again, you're glad you found him. Yeah. He's there because he'll kill some people. Like he could definitely be in they can make a Freddy versus Jason kind of deal, like Pinhead versus another superstar, and that'd be an intense movie.
Oh, I would watch that for sure.
But he's definitely one of my favorite killers, just because of, you know, if anybody listens to this show, you know that I've talked about it before. I'm a big fan of Mortal Kombat. My favorite character is Scorpion. Now Scorpion also, he has a chain. He has a move where he throws a spear with a chain, sticks you, and pulls you back. The get over here. Everybody knows that. It's iconic.
It all comes back to Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it does. But fucking Pinhead's I just love the sound of chains and them getting fucking stuck by chains. I love the sound of it because every time I hear the sound of chains, I think of fictional violence, and it's fun.
I'm not going to, because you guys, fans of the show, and us, you know that like we're not usually preaching on the remakes and the adaptations like in the further sequels 20, 30 years down the line. I did see the new Hellraiser, by the way, and this is just 30-second blurb about it. It wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. It wasn't incredible, but I loved, they kind of explained the box really well. I really like that, but like you just said, it was modernized, and I saw chains ripping into people, and there's just something about that carnage of the chains with hooks where you're like, dog.
Yeah.
What? Ow! And like you yank back is what's like, you know.
If I was getting chased by one of iconic killer, I do not want to get chased by Pinhead.
No, because he's gonna catch you, dude.
Oh, I know, and it's bad when he catches you. It's not good. It's never a quick death. Mm-hmm. Well, unless you're like an extra, because like, you know. I'm stuck between two favorite parts of this movie. My first favorite part is right in the beginning when, you know, Joey's in the hospital and she's leaving, and then they rush in the guy that has chains all on him, like, and the chains are just dragging and bleeding, and they're like rushing him in there, hearing the chains and all that. Like, he's fucked up. Like,
yeah,
I like that. Like, that was dope. And I'm also stuck between the part of the club where Pinhead first gets freed, and then he comes down to the club, and that's just when, like, murder happens. Like, he kills, like, an entire club.
Dude.
Like, that gets intense. It's like 3 or 4 minutes of murder.
It's so much carnage.
Mm-hmm.
The people at Home Depot must love him. He probably gets to park in the front, like in that little cove.
They probably bring it out to him.
Yeah. I'm going to need all the chain again. Sorry.
Yeah.
Got a big thing going on tonight. Ah. Big thing, huh? Well, tell the wife I
Here's
said
my
hey.
gift card.
Well, tell the wife I said hey.
What was your favorite part?
My favorite part of this movie, if I'm going funny, like the fucking asshole bar owner, JP, that guy, like, just cracks me up. Or JD. What the fuck was his name?
JD, I think.
What the fuck was his name, Ozark Mar?
I think it was JD.
JP Monroe.
Yeah.
So, this fucking guy, he's an asshole. He's always smoking a cigarette.
Dude, real quick, I'm sorry to cut you off, but this movie's going to make you want to smoke a cigarette.
There's so many cigs.
There's so many cigs. One time he's banging a girl and smoking, like, going hard. Like, that's hard to do.
That was the part that's like, if I'm going funny,
Yeah.
like, bro, he does this method when he's banging her, and he's like, like, I don't. That's just not practical.
No.
And like, I'm letting you know, like, I
don't know
I
if
put in work, but I've never, not once.
No. And I also don't think you can't, like,
What the cig?
I don't think you can look cool, like, while banging. You know what I mean?
Not
I don't
like
think you
that.
can, because your face is all like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't think you can look cool.
Turn
while
your
banging.
body over and let the rodeo begin. That's
Yeah.
that's what I say.
Right.
That's what I say. Okay. This is how nature intended it to be.
You know, a part I liked, I love the church scene. I love him walking in and all the, the windows blowing out. He goes up to the altar and just fucks it up.
You're reading my mind, bro.
But
Like,
also-
that's my scariest favorite scene. Yeah.
But a part that cracked me up is when she first runs in there and she goes to the priest, and the priest is like, "Oh, darling, demons are not real. They're just adaptation," or whatever he said.
Yeah.
And then Pinhead walks in. She's like, "And what the fuck is that?"
Bruh, he probably got one of the, like, he's holding the cross, and Pinhead says, "Thou shalt not bow to graven images." And he, like, melts the crucifix, and the crucifix turns to, like, molten metal and burns over his hand. Dog, do you know how bad that would hurt?
Ow.
Like, melt,
Your
like,
hand, your
metal
skin.
down to your bone.
Oh God,
Like,
that would sting.
I mean, it would be molded to your hand.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd become a superhero, bro. Like, you'd have metal in your fucking
You'd
hand.
be like, 1/16 of the way on the way to the Silver Surfer there.
I like how he kind of, like, stood up, but he was a little bitch about it. You know what I mean? Like, he was a little bitch about it. He was saying the shit isn't real. I'm telling you, like, I'm not saying, because Pinhead in the movie, or like in the books and shit, he's the hell priest. That's who he is. So, like, my guy works for the other team, and he's high up on the list. But, like, people always leave this out. Like, okay, let's walk down this, like you watch a horror movie, and you kind of let yourself go on a journey. Okay, and some are more believable to people than others because they have faith, or they believe certain things could happen. But let's walk down a road, even if you're a person without faith, and you're going to believe, okay, Pinhead's real. He's real, right? And he's the hell priest. So if there's a motherfucking hell, well, there's gotta be, like, the other side too, right? Like, so it's like you gotta find, like, what happened when the motherfucking Monstars, when they couldn't, when the Toon Squad, when they couldn't find enough talent to beat the Monstars, what'd they do? They went out and they found more talent. They got Michael Jordan, okay? That's what you gotta do, dog. You gotta go out and find the Michael Jordan of Jesus, okay? And he's gotta come in here and, like...
You need, like, a Van Helsing or some shit.
Yeah, what box opens up the Jesus Pinhead? Like, where he's like...
What if Oh God, I wish I was a millionaire. I'd make that movie.
Oh, bro, like, that would be so cool.
Jesus Pinhead.
Like, he comes out friendly. And he, like, they're battling good and bad, but, like, like, Pinhead hits him with, like, actual shots and chains, but, like, when Jesus touches him, he, like, touches and heals him, and he's like, and he's, like, turning back to normal.
He, like, shoots crosses out of a cross. I don't know what a Jesus Pinhead weapon would be.
Enough coffee and marijuana. I can iron out a script.
We'll figure,
we can make this happen.
We'll figure out something. We'll brainstorm it.
Yeah. Jesus Pinhead versus regular Pinhead. If I saw that, Jesus Pinhead versus regular Pinhead,
I would go to the premiere.
I'll take 4 tickets, please. Sir, you're alone. Yeah, I know, but like I fuck with this title, and I want them to make more things like this. Yeah, that's good stuff there. But no, that church scene is pretty badass. For you YouTube listeners, if you have not seen the movie, you can vaguely, if you could see behind Mark, you can see the scene where he takes pins out of his hand and he gives himself like the stigmatas, like the holes in his hand and shit, and he like pretty much mocks Jesus and he's busting all the shit. But like, I'm just telling y'all, if y'all find yourself in a situation like this, you just hit it with that. Nah, dog. I ain't scared of you. Like, you gotta have faith. Just like George Michael said, you gotta have faith in this situation. Okay? If Pinhead pops out and you're dealing with it, you can just accept, I'm not with your side, dog.
You need like a squirt gun with like holy water or something.
See, now the Lost Boys is coming out of you. You're thinking, I don't think you'll ever fall into a situation. Now the likelihood of us falling into a crazy situation like that, very slim, very slim. But for example, if there's a white owl outside of your house and he's staring at you, you're not going to take that shit lightly.
No, I'm going to shoot that owl.
Yeah. If you go, rent a cabin somewhere and you find a book with like spells and a tape recorder and shit, you're not playing it. You're leaving it alone.
No,
we're not doing this.
Because horror movies educate you on what not to do.
Like, look,
anybody has okay, don't.
I told you, like I have this like altar in my backyard. I got a decent sized backyard, but there's like this sewer lid, but like above it is like this altar in front of it kind of deal. And the sewer lid's kind of buried, but like you would see it more if the altar was gone, but
it's buried for a reason.
Well, somebody got married at this altar at some point in my backyard. Yeah. And I don't know what happened, who it was. And there's like this vegetation and this little tree thing that they planted that like grows around the altar, right? And my wife is like, we need to tear it down. I'm like, look, you can't just like make decisions like that, like just abruptly. Like, you got to think about this. Like, can we do some research on who got married here? What happened? Because like that's how the curse of La Llorona comes out of your backwoods, dude. Yeah. That's how shit happens, dog.
Yeah.
And
I hate to burst everybody's bubble, but at the end of the ordeal, she beats Pinhead. The whole thing happened. Now she's trying to hide Pandora's box. So what does she do? She goes to a construction site and puts the box down in the wet cement, and it floats down. First of all, I deal with concrete for a living.
Yep.
It's not how that works.
That'd be easy to bust.
Concrete hardens within 3 to 4 hours. And that was at night. So that shit would not be liquid. Hate to burst your bubble there. But I just wanted to tell you a little fact.
What if they laid it at night?
They did not. They did not. Okay. They did not. She just had a battle with Cenobites. They're not going to be pouring concrete in the background.
Bro.
You understand me?
There is a lot of carnage. You know what this really represents? Because we were just a couple years old when this movie come out. We weren't that old.
How old? When does this movie come out?
92.
Oh.
So this is a nice little timestamp of what things looked like when we was younger little boys.
Yeah.
When we was younger men's.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I like about that, it's an idyllic fucking 90s slasher horror movie. It is a continuation, but we have to remember Hellraiser came late. It came in 87. It wasn't like a movie that came out in 78 or like 82.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Elm Street was kind of late to the slasher party at 84. So Hellraiser was its own thing in 87. So like 92 isn't that far off. And I really think this guy kind of stepped out into his realm. And as we talked about like before, where it's like, the third in the franchise, you can either go really hokey or you can kind of go blockbuster. They spent a lot of fucking money on this movie.
They clearly did.
Yeah.
I was wondering because there was a lot of visual effects.
Yeah.
It looked well done.
Like
I said, some parts were cheesy, but it was well done.
Let's see how much money they had spent on this movie. Well, I didn't do that. I'm sorry. Excuse me while I'm trying to figure this out.
Uh-huh.
Look, I don't like being yelled at. I've never been a big fan of that. This movie's called Hell on Earth, by the way.
Yes.
Like, so how has that not been taken yet?
I don't know.
Where the fuck is
No.
Where the fuck is the budget?
Where is the budget? Where's the budget? We're on the edge of our seat because we need the budget.
It's like, when they don't show the price on the menu.
I know, what the fuck?
Okay.
I hate that.
The movie grossed $12,525,537 in the U.S. on a small budget.
That's a very specific number.
Okay.
Were there any cents? Was there any change?
Let's see. Hold on. It grossed on a small budget at anywhere between $2 million and $3 million at its conclusion. So
That's a pretty big budget for a horror movie.
So it's saying it made $2 or $3 million and it grossed 12. So that means what? It cost them $9 million a fucking budget.
Yeah, that's a pretty big budget.
Yeah.
Especially with not very well-known actors in it too.
Okay, it says estimated $5 million.
Just an estimate.
That's
a roundabout.
That's still a lot of goddamn money.
That's still a lot of goddamn money. But you know what I want to learn? I want to learn a lot of goddamn facts about this movie.
Okay.
I said what, and the but, what, welcome to the What Do You Know here. This is a segment here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie here. Now, if this is your first time here, this is how it's gonna go. We're gonna tell you things we know about this movie. Now, you may know what we know, you may not know what we know, but if you know what we know, you're gonna have a we know-gasm. If you don't know what we know, you're about to find out what we know, and then you're gonna have a we know-gasm too, so everybody can have the same conversation about their experiences
Together.
Experimental experiences in the experiment.
Together.
That is fucking fantastic. I can't believe I just said that. That was a tongue twister for your ass. Anyways, so I think it's your turn. Why don't you tell me something that you may or may not know about this movie? Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth.
Look. The Black Mace scene at the church.
Black Mace.
Yeah, where he comes in, he's doing all the bad stuff, he's doing the muck and the Jesus and whatever you have going on.
Yeah.
Look, that was filmed in a very religious part of North Carolina, right?
Okay.
Excuse me. Okay, that being said, they weren't allowed to shoot this scene in a church. They got denied, okay?
Well, I can see why. They're pretty much exploding the building.
Yeah, so they used a painting behind him when he was at the altar, and a lot of people complained of sacrilege, and he said, look here, go fuck yourself, okay? Because what's the difference between these movies and the Hammer movies with Christopher Lee and Dracula and stuff, okay?
Right.
And I'm talking about Anthony Hickox. That's the guy's name. He's the guy that directed and made the movies.
Right. How are you supposed to have a hell priest and not sacrilege in it?
Yeah.
It's a movie.
How you gonna say this God, but not the devil?
I know.
You got to be real here.
You gotta have one and the other.
That's right, peanut butter and the jelly, baby. Now,
Well, those two go together. It's more like, peanut butter and mayonnaise.
Peanut butter and salsa.
What would you rather eat, peanut butter and salsa or peanut butter and mayonnaise?
I honestly couldn't take a bite of either.
But
I couldn't eat either one of those sandwiches.
if you had to take a bite of one of them, which one would you prefer?
I couldn't. I literally refused to eat either one.
Do you think you would gag if you ever eat one of those?
Yeah, throw up immediately.
Oh, God. I think I would pick the salsa one because mayonnaise, I don't think mayonnaise would be very good with the peanut butter. Oh, fucking disgusting.
Sour cream and banana sandwich.
God. Ew. That's fucking gross. Ew.
Do you have anything you know about this movie, Hellraiser 3?
Fucking cottage cheese and chocolate.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know something about this movie, so check this out. This is something you may have not have realized, because I didn't realize this until I learned the fact.
Cool Whip and mustard.
Stop. You're gonna make me gag all over the microphone here. I just had Chipotle too. It's not very good down there right now. Anyways.
It's agitated.
Anyway. So, in this movie right here, the one we're talking about, this is the first movie in the Hellraiser franchise that Pinhead was actually called Pinhead, when he was actually referred to as Pinhead. The first two movies, they didn't call him Pinhead.
That wasn't his name.
In the movie.
They didn't call him that.
They did not call him that.
Well, that's kind of an interesting fact.
I wonder
because
what they did call him in the first two.
The Hell Priest.
Is that what they called him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then there you go. There's another fucking fact. That was a double whammy right there.
That just kind of became his name. Everybody's like, that's Pinhead.
I like it.
He's got pins in his head.
I like it better than Hell Priest.
I do too. Hell Priest kind of sounds cool, but that's like his job title.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be called like the job title.
No. You don't want to be called a janitor.
No.
If you're a janitor.
No.
I'm a custodian.
Hey, fucking asshole. Hey, teeth guy. You fix teeth?
Yeah.
Hey, dentist.
No, I'm called a doctor.
Remember that in Half Baked, that when he was like, hey, here you go, janitor. Here you go, scientist. That's how they called each other.
Yeah, you never call people by their job title, real. Well, you do, I guess, but you know, it depends on what you do.
Hey, bus driver.
Nobody.
Hey, bus driver, what the fuck you doing?
I want to get on a bus just to say, how you doing, bus driver?
Hey, bus driver.
Hey, bus driver, where are we going?
They'd respond too. They would respond.
They certainly would. Who wouldn't? You want to know any more facts here?
No, I know nothing.
Okay. Stop drinking the 0-calorie seltzer. You're going to be burping everywhere. It's already happening.
Yep.
You're messing up my audio quality.
It's not my fault.
It's not your fault. Anyway, we got to go. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Ozark, Mark. If you were to become a Cenobite, what would your Cenobite be?
Oh. I don't know.
Would you be a pool player? Like a pool playing Cenobite? Like you'd throw billiards at people?
Oh, that would be cool.
That'd be fucking...
Did you see the guy who was dead on the pool table? He had 2 pool balls in his mouth all stretched out. Whoever thought of that was cool. I like that dead body.
Like you would have like the little triangle thing on the pool table, you know, that you set up the balls with, rack them up.
The pool rack?
Yeah, you'd have the rack as your head, and like you'd have all the balls in there, and you would just be able to shoot them out like...
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. And you'd have a stick like Donatello.
Yeah, or a golfer.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's just, you know, just peg people with golf balls.
What if you were the producer? You know, I was thinking you could be the guy shooting out CDs.
I like the guy who shoot out CDs.
He was kind of cool.
That was pretty cool.
Because his head was wrapped in barbed wire.
Yeah.
Like, he just looked kind of
That's
sick.
a good one. I'm trying to think of what else here. Probably one of those, I guess. Those are some of my hobbies there.
Yep, this feels... And it's got
What about you, though? Don't just skip past the question like we're not going to talk about what Cenobite you would be. What Cenobite would you be?
I feel like I'd be Chatter, like with the teeth, like just talking.
Yeah?
Coming at you. I feel that. Or they would like grant me permission, like you like to be super scary. Well, here you go. You get to be a scary monster.
You would probably, I don't know, you probably would kill people like in famous horror movies. Maybe.
Oh, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
You'd kill people with a machete and then the glove and then, you know, the chainsaw. You could do that. You could do that.
He just makes me a little Pinhead, like I'm a little mini-me.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
I think it would.
See, that's a possibility of options there. But all these, like, this movie in particular feels very Terminator-inspired. I get some Terminator vibes.
I definitely did, especially when she's running through the town.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're chasing her, just walking. It's definitely a Terminator vibe right there.
Yeah, that's how the Cenobites kind of roll up, like the motherfucking Terminators. But that's what I think you would need, the Terminator versus the Cenobites, because I think the Terminator would win. Terminator don't lose, dog.
I like that. Especially the liquid Terminator. And the second one?
The Capri Sun Terminator. Yeah. Yeah, he don't play games.
I'm never going to look at him the same again.
The Capri Sun Terminator. They all just sip Capri
Oh, dude,
Sun.
you just labeled that for life. Like, you just ruined the entire Terminator for me.
I like the first one more. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, T2 is awesome,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people like T2 more than 1. I mean, it is very action packed. It's an incredible movie, but Terminator 1 feels like a horror movie to me.
Terminator 1 feels like a horror. You're right. It does feel like a horror movie to me, but the second one is more of like an action movie. You know, because you got Arnold Schwarzenegger as the good Terminator, and I think people like that more, but.
Yeah.
Capri Sun Terminator. God damn it.
You remember that commercial?
Yeah, and it just popped that commercial because I follow a page on Facebook where it's just it's nostalgia, and this dude just posts all old commercials that you used to see as a kid. And dude, I forgot about all these commercials, but it's just memory unlocked every time you see these old commercials. And one of them was the Capri Sun where they just melt and they form in and whatever.
Did you see the spoof one? If you haven't, like, look it up. It's like I bet you if you type in like Capri Sun spoof commercial. Oh, it's hilarious. These kids, like, legit just fucking transform. Like, they're like, Mom, what's for fucking lunch? Whatever. And they drink these, but, like, when they morph, they come back and they're all fucked up and their arms are hanging out. It's so funny. I don't even want to ruin it, but it is the funniest shit because the kids are just freaking out. They're, but it's still set up like one of those 90s commercials.
Yeah, that is funny. I like that.
But yeah, the Capri Sun people definitely fucked with Terminator enough. But my young brain saw them at such a close time where now it's the Capri Sun Terminators.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
They're liquid.
Yeah. I liked another little funny part that came out to me, just this random lines, is when Joey first goes into the Boiler Room Club and she's looking for that other girl, the black-haired girl who was first...
Terry,
who was originally... And with the first guy who she found out.
Put that thing in reverse, Terry.
So she's walking around the club, a busy-ass club, by the way, where there's all kinds of girls there. They all look the same, that 90s grunge rock, goth kind of look, you know. She goes up to the DJ. She's like, I'm looking for a girl, black hair. She's really pretty. She works here. And the guy's like, that doesn't help me.
Yeah, that
doesn't help me. That's like almost every girl in here. Like, what the fuck? How are you gonna?
Bro,
miraculous how she found her. But
look, I'm not gonna say I've always been the best guy in all of my life, right? But there are moments like
nobody is.
You know that guy, the chicken sandwich and waffle fries guy?
Yeah.
Like that guy lives in you, and like that guy is like how you want to respond, but like you wouldn't. If you care about a girl, you'll hold her purse at times. You'll do little shit, right? It's called chivalry. You're gonna be nice, or like just have respect, flat out. But like when you see a dude like JP and like he like straight like puts the work on this one like ditzy girl and he gives her a rose and he's like, you're the most beautiful girl, blah blah blah, and then she like gives it up and they bang, and then she's like, are you not interested in me? She's like, you gave me that rose. He's like, yeah, I'll give another one to somebody else tomorrow. Now get out of my shirt and get out of my life. And you're like, yo,
goddamn,
dog, hey.
Damn.
Yo, like my man is just Freddy vs. Jason, that one guy that's like, babe, come on, you know I don't like to ask twice. And then he's like, after they got done banging in Freddy vs. Jason, he's like, babe, you know I don't like to be touched after.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Like, bro,
what do you do? What's wrong with you?
Bro, but like just like even if you didn't like to have the balls enough to just be like, don't touch me, bitch. Like, just there's just these certain dudes in movies, and this guy's smoking a cig, like, yeah, I'll give another one to another bitch tomorrow. Get out of my shirt. Get the fuck out of here.
They do a good job of you rooting for Pinhead to come and get him, and he does.
Yeah, even Pinhead's like, damn, dog, you evil. He's like, no, I'm not evil. It's like, nah, you a little bit evil.
Yeah.
You're a little bit evil, man.
A little bit evil.
You've been doing that wicked shit, and I've been seeing it. Pinhead knows this wicked shit.
Of course he does. He's a fucking poet. I like when he first meets Joey, and they start having like a regular normal tone conversation. And he's like, "Give me the box," and she's like, "No, like fuck you, come get it." He's like, "Don't argue with me, woman."
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Just from 0 to 100. Like I just laughed a little bit in that part, but
he is a poet though, man, and a lot of it like you could think because I know not every little piece of it. I don't even think at this point in the franchise was based completely like verbatim off of the book, but the content that Clive Barker just left people. What a confusing and crazy story. But if you watch the movie front to back, it makes sense. If you understand the concept of Pinhead and whatever, like it makes sense. It's just such a...
It's different. It's not what you're used to.
It's so uniquely Clive Barker. Like, it's just like he has his own feel to his movies. And you have to understand, I mean, Clive Barker, I mean, he made fucking Candyman like the same year. Like, that's his story as well.
Yeah, you can definitely see the similarities between those movies.
Oh, yeah.
And how they're shot, how they're filmed, how the characters develop, all that stuff, the dialogue.
Yeah, they just come from a brain.
He's definitely got his own style for sure.
Yeah, man. 100%. Who's your favorite between Candyman and Pinhead?
Oh, Pinhead.
Yep.
Pinhead.
Like, if I saw Candyman with bees in his mouth, I'd be like, "Are you okay? I want to help you, sir."
Yeah.
And then he might be like, "Oh, you'd help me?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I wouldn't kill you because you could love whoever you want, buddy."
Yeah, Pinhead, Candyman's got a sad story to him, so you kind of like side with him, feel with him a little bit. You know, you get the little feels with him.
Bring it in, buddy.
A little bit of humanity. And Pinhead, no. Pinhead, no. But Pinhead is a beast, dude, and I love his carnage. Like I said, I love his change. I love the way he does. I love his dialogue. He's a good character. He's a great character.
Super cool. Love the way he walked in this, too. He had like a little float to him.
Yeah.
He's just sinister. Him coming out at the club very much felt like Freddy at the barbecue.
His laugh, dude, when that murder's going down, and his laugh is fucked up. Like, it's cool, though. I like it.
Yeah, you definitely get some real creepy scenery. Even like when it shows Elliot Spencer becoming Pinhead, that was a cool little transition, kind of seeing Pinhead become Pinhead.
Yeah.
And it looked real creepy at moments. He's like starting to dig it, and he's like got blood on his teeth. It looked creepy.
Yeah.
It's an acid trip of a movie.
It is.
Now, I don't know if you should watch this movie on some kind of strong psychedelic.
Hell no.
I don't think you'd
Hell
make it.
no. You will get a bad trip on that. You stay far away from that shit.
Yeah, dude, this is some, yeah.
You know, fucking watch a Disney movie or some shit. Anyway, let's go through another portal to another world and rate this movie.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Yep. Welcome. You have traveled. I hope you had a safe travel through that portal to the other realm of the other world. Right here, we are going to get into the world famous, one and only, one of a kind sloppy horror podcast rating developed by the horror nerd himself, your favorite scary movie companion, Christian Ramey. This horror movie rating is based on a horror movie in general, not a general movie. You see what I did there? Two negatives become a positive. Bang. So what we're going to do here, if you don't know how it works, we're going to do this as a series of 3 categories. 3 categories are worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
That's correct. And if you don't know what the categories are, don't worry. I'm going to guide you through it because Daddy's got you. Now, let's go into the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
Look, Mark, this is my opinion, point blank definition of a 1.5, because it's not Oscar-winning acting. I mean, that main girl that played Joey, she was in Star Trek forever. All these people like have been in shit. They're seasoned actors, but they're not like, they're B actors. They're B actors, but they're not fucking Z actors. Like, they're not like, this isn't like the ant from Sleepaway Camp. Like, this isn't some goofy shit. Like, this isn't like, yeah, I did a movie once in the 80s. No, these people are actors for sure. Nothing crazy strong, because there are moments where you're like, but 1.5. This is the true definition of 1.5 to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. The actors fit the movie, but you're not going into this movie for the acting.
Yeah.
The acting does not make the movie. All the other kind of shit makes the movie. Now the acting fits though. It works. It's not, true definition. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, it's not Jodie Foster and Hannibal Lecter and fucking
Right.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah, it does work. So that's 1.5 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the second category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
Just has to be a 3. I mean, like, if you were to, like, literally, like, take a percentage of this movie and say how much of it's kills, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 20-25%. Like, a lot of this, there's a large percentage of this movie of kills. And, like, usually in horror movies, like, even if you're racking up 7 or 8, it's, like, a decent amount. But there's just murder throughout this whole movie. And, like, think about, like, how the club owner got killed. Like, he got all those hooks in him, and then his fucking head got impaled. Like, there is some brutal kills. There's some creative kills. And once again, I kind of like to look at it like how much work was put into the kills. And like there were people up at night thinking like, dude, how can I do this pool table kill? Oh, what about the bartender? Can he come out and he's like got like a drink shaker and he's like...
Well, now all the club scene kills are quick and fast, but they were all different. Even just ones that are chains, every chain kill is different.
Yeah.
They get killed in a different spot. Some get hung, some get choked, some get ripped apart. Every chain kill is different. Unique kills to their addictions and all that in there. And then, the one-on-one kills are ridiculous. One girl gets skinned alive.
Right.
And then sucked in, stabbed, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and not
Some
all
dude
of it
gets in-
age is incredible, but it's still, you got to give credit where it's due.
No, dude, it's an 80s horror, it's a early 90s horror movie. You can't expect too much.
Yeah, dude.
I do think they did a good job on the kills. So that is 4.5 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the third, final 3-point category on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is fear.
I want to give it a 1 in my heart because it's just Pinhead, and I feel like this was like the first movie for some people to like. This was definitely a big VHS tape. This was a VHS tape that got traded around a lot. I just remember this being out a lot. So like I feel like there's a lot of people who are afraid of Pinhead because of this movie. I could say half a point, because it's like not going to terrify a lot of people now, but like from the impact of Pinhead and who he is, I feel like this is a big part of his legacy and like what made him him. Because like we said, it's the first movie where they called him Pinhead. So I feel comfortable with a 1. What say you, Ozark?
I'll go with a 1 just because he's very creepy, he's unsettling, he's a scary character. But that can only go so far because it's a very unrealistic element. Mm-hmm. Like, a Pinhead would never happen in this world.
No.
It won't. Like, it's just not going to happen. There's no realistic fear to it, and that has a big impact in fear, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But he is, the way he talks, the way he presents himself, how he murders, like, it's a scary thing. I get it. Especially to a child or a younger.
Oh, yeah.
Or someone who's scared easily, So I get it. So that's a good score. That's a 1. So that is 5.5 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the final 1 point category for half a point each here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is rewatchability.
I'm gonna say yeah. I've watched this one a lot. I don't know if you've seen this one more than once, Mark, or if this was your first time. But...
No, this is my first time seeing this one. The Hellraisers, again, always slip my mind. But whenever they do come back to life, I'm interested and I like them. And this will be rewatchable. It's only an hour and a half.
Perfect. Swing time.
which is a big factor in rewatchability. And sometimes people like Pinhead. Like he's another icon. He's not up up there with some of the greats, but he's definitely an icon. People definitely know Pinhead.
But you're hanging out and you got a bad little something on your side. She says, I want to watch a Pinhead movie. Can we watch the third one?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes we can.
Like honestly, that's the one I want to watch.
Right. This is I really enjoyed this one. So yeah, rewatchability for me too. So that is 6.5 points total for
Hellraiser 3.
Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. Right here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast, officially right up in your ass, and it's there to stay.
I like that score. It did pretty well, but it's well thought together. There's a lot of creativity going on. What's going to be more fun to me, Mark, is as these movies get older, like let's say 15, 20 years down the line, even if these episodes are archived and people can go back and like listen to them, I don't know how they'll age, or how they'll look or whatever, but it's just interesting that, like, when we were young, these were some of the flicks that had available to us. And even, like, you don't watch them when you're that age, you can go back and watch them because, like, your eyes are familiar with certain things, and you're just like, oh. Like, if somebody picked up a landline phone, you're not like, what foreign device is this? Mm-hmm. Like, you just know what that is.
Well, I mean, if I put my 2 cents in, if you listen to the show, not a horror nerd, love horror movies. Most of these movies I'm watching for the first time. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these movies are older movies. Some of the stuff doesn't age well, but that doesn't factor to me at all. That doesn't change my opinion about the movie.
We don't age well always.
No, we do not. No, we do not. No, we do not. But I think these movies will still be watched 15, 20 years down the line.
Yeah.
Especially when they start coming out with remakes, that usually boosts the watch of the older movies.
I think it'll reach a point where it looks so different it would be scary again.
Yeah, so I do hate remakes sometimes, but remakes are also good because they're reminders for you to just, hey, go watch the original ones or the ones that came out, the ones that inspired the remake. It keeps them alive, sadly.
I think somebody can go back even to like an 80s horror movie, like say 30 years from now, and it's going to look so fucking different where they're going to be like, what is happening? This is nuts, because like it looks so different and it doesn't look as clean and it looks like raw and some kind of like, what the fuck?
Well, it's
like,
it's
gonna mess them up again. So I think like it looked corny for some time, but then eventually it'll age out.
Oh yeah,
And
I mean
it'll
it's
get
the same
creepy.
kind of concept with like antiques and shit. Like I mean, some of the shit's irrelevant, but they still like it around. Mm-hmm. It's not practical, but it's still got nostalgia to it, and nostalgia is a big factor.
Now, boys and girls, you know what else is a big factor? Keeping the lights on at Sloppy Horror Podcast.
That wasn't what's on my mind, but we'll go with that.
We need your help, boys and girls. If you've made it this far into the show, that means you've enjoyed it. So, why don't you try to help us out? Go over to the patreon.com/sloppyhorror. Join, help us out, get some bonus content for your ass. Or you can get a t-shirt and our merchandise. You can check that out in the links below in the description. You can let the world know you're a sloppy horror, just like Mark and I.
That's correct. And make sure you always follow Christian Ramey on the TikTok at Sloppy Horror Podcast for great horror content. He reviews current movies. He makes all kinds of cool videos for more educational horror facts if you're that type of person. Yep. Also follow me on the TikTok if you are just an audio listener. And I post clips on the show on mine. So you can get a visual thing if you want to see our beautiful faces if you're an audio listener and you want to see what the fuck we look like.
Yes.
So do that too.
Now, another thing that's coming. I've heard the rumbling in the streets. I've heard what the people have said. They want the Sloppy Horror Show back, okay? And that's what we're going to give them, Mark, okay?
What?
They want the Sloppy Horror Show.
What the hell's the Sloppy Horror Show? I thought this was the Sloppy Horror Show.
This is the Sloppy Horror Podcast.
What's the Sloppy Horror Show?
The Sloppy Horror Live Show. So,
what? Okay.
We are going to set a date for the most entertaining horror live event that you can watch anywhere, okay? And that's what we're going to do. And we know we can pull in a lot of you. Now, we're going to make sure that we give you guys a good heads up. Ozark and I are going to chisel this out.
No, this is great. This sounds like a lot of work for me. I'm
Well,
excited.
no. It's a lot of work for both of us. But it'll be a live event via probably YouTube. Not sure, maybe Patreon. We'll see, maybe both. But what's going to happen is we're going to do a lot of entertaining. It's going to be, because let's be honest, hey, we love that you're listening to our horror podcast, but Sloppy Horror isn't just about doing the same thing everyone else is doing. We want to be able to give you guys, movies. We want to be able to entertain you guys in another way. And, people love live shows. They love to be able to interact. And, maybe we can watch some movies with some folks, because in the long-term run, we take our big cities and then we go out and have a live event in your fucking city. We have fun. We do a live episode. Maybe we watch a movie together. We hang out. We come to your fucking city. But in the meantime, we can throw the best live horror show anybody's ever seen. The most entertaining, I can guarantee that. Okay? So, you guys keep your ear to the track for that. You guys do that.
Keep it in the back of your mind.
Because it's coming. Okay? It's coming. All right? Just like creepy old guys with their hand in their pocket. It is coming, baby. And it is coming hard.
The fuck was that?
on your face.
Great. Now I'm never gonna look at an old man with his hand in his pocket ever again. You're ruining everything for me on this podcast. Like, stop doing shit. You're ruining my life.
Somebody's gonna come up to you like, yeah, I was watching T2 last night. Oh, Capri Sun Terminators? Yep. Oh yeah, they ain't no joke, dog.
I want a Capri Sun Terminator shirt.
Pacific Cooler, man. Fucking Capri Sun Terminator.
How many times have you fucked up the straw on a Capri Sun and pissed off?
Oh yeah. Stab it through the back, or it like doesn't,
Doesn't stab. Doesn't stab correctly. You're just fucking thirsty and you can't get it in there.
Wasn't good. Why are kids
Dude, I
so
could
amused?
dude, how quickly do you think you could suck down a Capri Sun now?
1.8 seconds.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
We need to get a Capri Suns down here and we need to see. Do you
Kids-
have Capri Suns here?
No.
Damn it.
Kids are still so amused, like once they finish their juice box, if they blow it back up and they're like, look, us full. You're like, yeah, I did that when I was a little kid too, you little fucking idiot.
Dude, I do that every time.
I know.
I haven't had a Capri Sun in a long time. That's still some good shit.
Remember Squeeze-Its?
Squeeze-Its?
Yeah, bro. They were like the little plastic Squeeze-Its. I'm about to pull this up, and you're gonna be mad that you're like not remembering it, because you were alive for Squeeze-Its.
I'm sure I was.
I'm not pulling out some crazy.
I remember Go-Gurts. What is this?
Squeeze-Its, dog.
Oh, yeah! God, those
Squeeze-Its.
are everywhere.
Yeah, those are great, man.
Oh, those were jackpot. That and the barrels.
Yo, bro,
The
how
monkey barrels or whatever those were good.
6-pack of Squeeze-Its, bro? How fast them go down, bro? You'd be gaming like, just
Dude, I could drink.
I
could drink a whole 6-pack of that in probably under 5 minutes.
You're like a
guarantee
fucking
it.
boxer, like.
I always squeezed it. I used to see how far I could go before. You know what I mean? Everybody's done that shit.
I remember Mondo's too. Mondo's had like a different little top on them. I don't know if you remember Mondo's, but they were kind of good too.
Yeah, those were good too.
Yeah,
Those
I like.
were great.
Yeah, the
Well,
good old days.
Chris and Ramy, we're on a tight schedule here. We are out of time,
All right.
unfortunately. Unfortunately, but we love you.
But I don't want to die.
I hope to see you again next week. Or I hope to see you in the past, because you're going to go back to a different episode. It's going to be eerie. It's going to be in the past.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Well,
Yep.
you know, wash your hands, brush your teeth, be good. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.